Let's see. What do I hear? The real belief that the Pharisees and the people had in their heart is that he should die because he makes himself to be the son of Elohim, the son of the Creator. Obviously, if someone deserves death from the person's heart saying that, they don't know what a son is. No clue. And they have all the scriptures. Even Messiah saying, in your scripture, in your law, in your word, you're called Elohim's, God, and they had no understanding at all. And nothing changed since then. For those that are not of the Father, are only enemies of the Father and Messiah and his people. There is no other way. It's already true. It won't be true someday in the distant future. It always was true. Cain hated Abel. It's always been true. Shown in natural. This is what they want to do. Cain kills his brother, and they've been doing it ever since. Those that are not of the Father do not know what a son of the Creator is, nor do they love or care about them, and they don't know what it is, because they wouldn't say he deserves to die for just saying truth. What's wrong now? Have I become your enemy for speaking truth? Don't we read that somewhere? Have I now become your enemy for telling the truth? Look how Messiah responds. The high priest then asked Messiah about his disciples and his friend. Yahushua answered him, I spoke openly to the world. I always taught in synagogues and in the temple where the Jews always meet, and in secret I have said nothing. Unlike them, they all do their works in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard of me what I said to them. Indeed, they know what I said. And when he had said these things, one of the officers who stood by struck Yahushua with the palm of his hand, saying, do you answer the high priest like that? The spirit of, do you know who these people are? We're God. Do you know who he is? Messengers of God, the high priest. Fear us, we're God. That's what they have in their heart already. It's already true. They're God in their own mind. It's already true. It's not coming someday. It was already inside them. Messiah didn't do any evil by speaking this truth, but they can only perceive it as evil constantly because that's what someone else would do for that intention and reason. Say that. Someone of the world would say the same words, but it's with the intention to kill, steal, and destroy and throw down. Therefore, when Messiah says these words, it's already evil to them. It must be evil because they never seen good. Ask me, ask those who have heard of me what I said to them. Indeed, they know what I said. Sounds what Messiah says there to them sounds evil. Sounds really evil because anybody else in the world saying similar words, why are you asking? Ask those who've heard it. Indeed, they tell you what they heard. Anyone else in the world would say that out of spite, out of throwing down, out of sin in the heart, but Messiah had no sin in the heart saying these things. John 18:20-21. In secret said nothing. Why do you ask me? It sounds kind of uncertain. It's going to sound like that. And so then the only thing that he received was false accusations and sounding evil, doing evil constantly, when it's actually those against him that were doing the actual evil in the heart. Even saying release Barnabas, who's a known robber, kill Messiah, just because he claims to be son of Elohim, son of the Creator. And this is a problem with them. How is it that they don't know what a son is? Well, saying this out of needing to be given, but how is the world? They don't understand. They can't see. If the religious leaders and all those following them knew what a son was, how could they want him dead for the blasphemy of calling himself son, putting it all on the Father, that he's doing all the works, and they're having his spirit is to be the son of the Creator? That very real thing of what a son is blasphemy to those not the actual son, what it means and what someone is, whatever it really means. That's what's blasphemy to the people. If they knew what a son was, they wouldn't have wanted to kill the very one they were looking at, the very son of the Creator, full of his spirit. And the people using his word are actually enemies and carnal. And it was being revealed self-righteousness for the first time in reality, being revealed and exposed. Because there was no man or mediator, there was one. As we even read that in Isaiah, the Creator himself saying, there's nobody. This is astonishing. It's for our admonition, it's not like the Creator is confused or something. So then I will, stick out my own right hand and save with my own salvation. I'll do it then, since there's nobody. That's how bad it is in this world. But now through Messiah, there's a mediator. And knowing that, like Messiah said, for this cause I was born, and for this cause I was sent to the world, for all the things we read that he did, that the Father had him do, even planned the foundation of the world, down to the very hour and second, whatever needed to be done, got accomplished through the world hating him, through wanting to murder him, still fulfilled the Father's will perfectly, which is maybe the most astonishing thing, is that his will is getting done anyways, even through people that are not of him doing evil and they have something else going on in their mind. And it's actually going to work out for the good, for a testing and move up to the next spot, the next thing for a believer. Drives them out, moves them over here now, and it needed to be done anyways, but it was through the evil. Without that, it wouldn't have been done like that. In the mind of those murderers, just attacking, nothing. In the mind of the one being attacked, of the Father, anybody in Messiah, being given to see it was necessary. And because of this, now you're over here, or you're over there, and you have this understanding now, working out somehow for the good. And we even read, if these enemies knew, if the devil knew, and the devil, the enemy, through the people, groups, religions, things, you could say the devil for all kinds of things. That Scripture has the proof for that. The devil could be a few people, it could be one person, it could be Satan himself, it could be a system, it could be a religion, it could be a group of people. The devil will throw you in prison. It's being done through the people, the enemies. If he had known what this would cause, killing Messiah, they wouldn't even have done it. They had no clue what they were doing in reality. They thought they knew what they were doing. Very carnal man is very short-sighted. He sees nothing in advance. Well, doesn't see anything at all, but especially nothing in advance. Where while attacking so blind and strong judgment on the person attacking, they can't see the simple response 5 seconds to come. That confounds them. But they're too prideful to see it, and they'll walk away thinking they're right, and they're, you're evil, you're God, and it's them believing they're a God in their mind because they're resisting, denying themselves. The only way to receive anything from the Father is denial of self, through asking out of acknowledging not knowing. The only way to understand anything. And they call understanding true doctrine and everything else, good works, evil, and pride and blasphemy. But it's being perceived from the enemy of confusion. It's being perceived by them. This person, Messiah, sounds like he's confident with what he's saying. And it's going to strike them as wicked because they don't know what they're doing. They don't understand what they're talking about. Reality, but just just acting like they are the best they can. All this being used to get self-worship and gain books and get worship, as the Pharisees and high priests and all the people back then did all these things for those intentions without actual understanding, putting on a bunch of little things, adding things, but then when it comes to real things, the weightier things of the law, it's gone. It doesn't care at all, does not do anything. Doesn't lift a finger itself with the things it puts on people, which could be done through all kinds of ways and means to try to put loads on people, put them in slavery and bondage, and itself not able to lift with one finger anything it does to put on others. And I think it's the next chapter, maybe in this one, where we read that he ought to die because of what he makes himself to be. The question could be then, was Messiah doing evil and sin and being prideful with actual pride? Well, to them, yes. Otherwise, they wouldn't say it's blasphemy. They need to, for no evil work, but for claiming to be a son, and also hating to hear about judgment, that every stone would crumble. For these things, he needs to die. Not even able to say what evil work in reality he did. Although they would love to try to find and accuse, find something. But the heart just hates truth, hates the Father. That's the truth. And it's looking for excuses. It's sitting, waiting, trying to find something desperately. How is it mankind can't see that that's evil? But this is what everyone's doing. Without his spirit, they don't realize they're doing it. But they're especially too, must do this. They're waiting there, trying to find something desperately. They're sitting there thinking about this, to find evil on someone. They're wanting evil. They're wanting a fall. They're wanting destruction. They're wanting sin. That's evil. That's backwards. Instead of wanting always good, wanting the best, and then if we do the works to prove otherwise, well, then it is what it is. But not hoping, wanting, believing. It's, someone's in sin doing evil and this, or trying to find something on them. It's a sick world, so confused. What people talk about in this world, a lot of confusion. And when you try to say, if you were to try to say something, anything about what we see, it's not even what they're talking about. I mean, it's not even in the right realm. People are doing apart from him. But they masquerade so well. The enemy masquerades pretty darn well, where if they're being told something and they don't have any understanding of it, which an enemy doesn't have any understanding of the Father's things, but just saying that to bring it out, it will go along and masquerade as understanding the best it can so that it's not spotted as not knowing. That's a lie, deception, doing wickedness towards the person, because that's not loving your neighbor. That's actually hating your neighbor with a carnal hatred. To just go along, someone understands, just to get out of the sticky situation on their part. And the disciples even did this. That's why Messiah says, do you now understand? He knew they didn't. They lied. But they were, they were carnal. They didn't have a spirit. They were being led up to believe. They made they did this many times. Right with Messiah too. Now we know you're not speaking in figurative language and in parables. You speak to us plainly now. Yes, now we know you're the son of Elohim, and that you have been given all things, and you know all things. They're speaking like this, as suddenly now they know. Now we know. Children. And Messiah says, do you now? Do you really know? Do you now know? Do you now believe? They didn't understand. They thought they did. Tried to make it look like they understood what he was saying. In reality, they didn't understand that. They didn't even understand that he needed to die. No comprehension at all, zero. What is this? Die. He's the king. What's going on in their minds has nothing to do with reality and truth. Not yet. Not until they receive the Spirit and start learning for real that they were being led up to believe. But through the examples, for anyone that's being given by the Father to see through the examples why we have it written there, to see these things, what's going on in the heart, these games constantly, and lies and sin. They didn't know any better either. They were asking what the parables mean, and then acting like they understood afterwards. It's not possible to understand without the Father's Spirit giving understanding. It just isn't possible to see it. There's no other way. I don't know how to say it. So therefore, the devil masquerades pretty easily by saying words, muddies up all the waters. And anybody can do that. Anybody can say some words and write words. It doesn't have anything to do by itself with understanding, because that part had to be given to perceive. It's like someone says words and they think they understand, and then later they're actually given the understanding. They go, wow, they said this, they repeat the same words to themselves, but they see something that they didn't. But someone carnal just sees them repeating the same words they did 5 years ago. Before they didn't understand, now they have some kind of understanding. And they're saying the same words. Nothing really changed. It doesn't appear that it changed. Not very much. Maybe sometimes, say things that people never say, but for the most part, the devil's already got messengers saying what a believer might say already. And that's the damnable thing, is watching them do all this with no understanding and actually only doing it for self-gain and attention. Even watching people wax worse and worse, sadly. You try once or twice and that's it. They don't see the words. It's gone. It's invisible. It's astonishing. And from my understanding given, as far as going down further down the bottomless pit, someone's in more sin when it's revealed. The judgment even stronger. And what will this appear? When people start saying they're God and they're the Messiah, the Son of Man, they are real far down the pit. It's worse, because it requires more delusion and punishment and judgment to start actually openly going out saying, I am the kingdom, I am the Son of Man, and I am the good seed. But all these last 2,000 years, the Son of Man, the Messiah himself, and the good seed and what it means didn't apply. Had no understanding or meaning until some guy was born 1900 something years later, and now it's true. Or that there's no believers the last 1,600 years solid. Now conveniently, a person, the prophet, is born. Now there's believers, because this is incredibly, there are people out there doing this in the open. They're pouring out their folly and embarrassing shame that they can't see. Their conscience is seared. It's like there's no conscience. According to the understanding from the Father, what the conscience is. Because a wicked person will just say, my conscience is good, and they just did evil. Obviously, it doesn't apply for them. So they just used his word perversely right there with trickery and deception. Oh, my conscience is good. Someone does evil. How's your and then you just lie. Oh, it's good. Okay, well, that's being judged by the Creator. But see how you could just use his word like that perversely anytime anybody wants. They're not getting away with it. They're being judged, something they can't understand or see. That they're literally being blinded and judged by the Creator of the heavens and earth right this minute. For every work and thought in the heart is being judged. Truly is. They don't see these judgments. A prideful carnal man still full of smoke from the pride, makes people smoke spiritually, like we read in Revelation. That's what the smoke is. It's the torment of sin. and pride. They're pouring out their folly and they can't see it. They're being judged. When people, the reason why people do things is because of judgment for sin. So going crazy, losing their mind, going crazy, which is like normal to people. But even the enemy is divided against each other. So pointing at one and saying this is crazy, but then they point at the other and say this is crazy. You know, it's like multiple layers needing to be seen to have clarity of what's going on. It's very badly confused. When someone's taking a video of themselves, throwing around $100 bills to people, and then posting them in themselves and casually just going, oh wow, yeah, it was just 100, bro. It's just 100. I'm God. That's what they're doing. They're doing that because they're being punished. It's incredible what they do. It's blind, but since the whole world's blind, it's not much of a big deal, is it? It's incredibly prideful, and they'll be, you're humble. That's a humble person there. Why? Because he gives $100 bill to strangers and captures it on video and shows it. I'm only saying these things, you know, examples of sin, craziness people are doing. That's not humble. That's breaking his word perfectly, sounding the alarm, sounding a trump of the mountain. I'm God, I'm good, I'm the Son of Man, I give $100 bill. They're doing that because they're in destruction and void. Otherwise, they wouldn't be doing that continually. Doing that because they're being punished for their sin in the heart. It's why they're doing it. It wasn't their idea. It's a delusion chosen by the Creator and given to them for a punishment, for rebelling against his voice, for doing evil continually, as the whole world's being punished and judged. But it don't mean anything to the blind. They just say there's no judgment and they drive away going, no judgment because I said there. And that's it. That's literally how it is for them. It's real disturbing, frustrating to see it happen all the time. There is no proof to them for truth, zero, because they're blind. The very proof needed is being a believer and seeing and being given these things. That is the only proof. But if someone doesn't have the Father, the spiritual anything, they have eyes but cannot see. Therefore, we're learning about heavenly things is zero proof to them. It doesn't even exist. Therefore, thinking it's wise, because it can't see whatever we're saying, it believes it's wise and that his people are blind. It thinks it can do that, and to do that, to throw away truth, to throw away that it doesn't understand. It's scared of not knowing. It doesn't even want to think for a second that it doesn't know something. So it needs to attack it and laugh, because when someone laughs, it makes it look like that what they're laughing at is very stupid and foolish. The only reason people do that is because they're stupid and foolish and afraid of what's true and good. If people could see through, but the carnal man, that, you know, everyone else, 7 billion people doing that, they won't go along with this truth. They'll go along with the carnal man and support him because they're in and of the world. They're going to support those. They're going to hear the words of those in and of the world. Those that are not of the world, as Messiah said his people would be, the world will not hear them, period. Therefore, they use their blinding as proof, which is actual crazy delusion. They use blinding, lack of any sight, as proof that something's not true and that they're right with whatever they're doing and saying, you know, how much more proof do you need? Says in their heart. I give people money all over the place and even capture it. Look, see? And you can't do anything. You can't get them to see that that's wicked. They don't see. There's no windows and doors open. It's closed. It's blind. It's doing that to prove it's good. It's the only reason why someone would do that, is to prove and protect its image, to make it look good. Sin. The bigger someone rises in this world, the more they have to do that. The more sin they have to do. To rise requires more sin to cover. It requires a stronger masquerade. yes, the anti-Messiah, masquerading the spirit of error. Therefore, if a man were to pop up out of this world, smooth words, I'm going to destroy all the evil and clean up everything, the world would believe it because the guy is in and of the world. A little pressure, a little catastrophe, and people would fall for that instantly, just like they did for Hitler. No different. It'd just be 10 times worse, or 100 times worse. I don't know. Just worse. It's a foul spirit, man. Everything is out of just it's out of punishment. There's no reality to what the blind are doing and saying, and America, go America, you know, and walking around with flags on their backpack. Oh, we're patriots. It doesn't know what it's doing. It's literally crazy and insane. What, you can't tell someone that. They need to believe first, you know. They need to receive the Spirit first. There's no other hope besides that. So we can't go around doing what the world does, which is constantly pointing finger with the shaking of the fist and pointing of the finger, shaking the fist of wickedness. They're going to correct everything, and they're better, and their delusional kingdom's going to conquer all the other ones. Can't they see that's all that's ever been happening? It's never going to work. What the disciples wanted to slice the ear off of him, it's never going to work. Put your sword down, you idiots. And they didn't see yet. They did start seeing, though, later. Messiah tests them. You guys have a sword or something? Got a couple. They went out and got a couple swords. Here, we got swords. We found them. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Let's go now. Oops. They didn't do what Messiah had in mind. It was another realm in a foul spirit of delusion. They grabbed swords ready to fight and conquer and kill. Messiah didn't have anything to do with that. When they say we have some swords around here, enough, we'll defeat in all of the world with a cup swords, just us right here. We'll kill everyone. You know, it's a strong delusion, man, for anyone that doesn't love the truth. But, you know, saying this out of knowing that they were going to believe, but nevertheless, what they did right there was good. Why? It's like a little test. You guys are ready to go to war and kill people. That's not why I said grab swords. Can't you see? They didn't see. Not yet, though. Yeah, we need the sword. It's a spiritual war. Put on the sword, on the shield, put on the helmet. That's why he said that. Figurative, parable, spiritual. What it really means. But they literally grabbed the sword, just like of old, ready to fight literally and kill people. No, that's old. That's old stuff. That's old covenant. That's before the Spirit was poured out. That's before Messiah. Fighting through the kingdom. You know, there was no righteous on earth. Revelation. If it's in and of the world, carnal, it's not righteous. It's not of the Father, because that's not who he is. Yet Jerusalem and all of Israel did not know the Father. They were types. They didn't actually know him. As the flesh is enmity towards the Creator, in reality, as the revelation, everyone in the flesh was in the heart still against him. And it was proven utterly through Messiah. Finally, the Spirit poured out in full through Messiah, a man. This is who the Father is, through the man living his word. This is how you live the words, all his word. And what did it prove? That all of them murderously hate him. Yes, all the kings of Israel didn't know the Father. King David didn't know the Father like Messiah did and does. But, you know, as an example, you're comparing. David fulfill seeking the Father with all the heart. But he did, in that he's an old covenant saint that did that the natural way, not what it really means, not yet. It's a true teaching, spiritual teaching. But he didn't, in reality, do the reality of that teaching yet. Because no one can stick a sword in someone's gut and be of the Father, period. There's excuses for this, they can go away. They can't see that that's evil. They must not see at all. You can't love an enemy, be good to an enemy. Don't do the same thing they do back with the heart by sticking a sword in the gut of someone. Oh, this shakes people right to the core. It shakes religions right to the core. They need to shut this up. Because if King David wasn't actually righteous, according to the Father's righteousness revealed Messiah forward, but righteous in that he's an old covenant saint, representing the righteous, just like the bread represented the true bread to come, but it wasn't the true, and yet it was, in that it's a teaching of the true. But it itself, bread from heaven, wasn't the real bread. Neither was the King David the true king yet. And yet he was, in a way, in a teaching in the natural. The Father. To know the Father is to, eternal life is to know the Father and Messiah in spirit. Worship the Father in spirit and in truth, not in flesh and in falsehood. So then it's scary how many carnal people they can't bear hearing these words, because if Abraham wasn't what carnal religion thinks he is, they still are Abraham. That's all they know. And if we're casually saying Abraham isn't what we need to be now, because something greater came, the kingdom of heaven, and something much greater came, then they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have any other understanding. What do you mean, Abraham? What do you mean, David? What do you mean, Moses, this, that? They still are carnal. That's why it would bother them severely to hear the truth. Won't find the religious leaders giving any understanding on why Israel killed people and how we have the same creator and there's nothing that changed with him. They don't have the understanding. It's an enigma, contradictions, and lies constantly. Well, all of a sudden, what? Love your enemies? What on earth happened? What changed? What happened? Well, the teaching in his word didn't change. Who the Father is didn't change. It just wasn't revealed or given to anybody before. What would be given? The Spirit of truth was not in them like it was from Messiah forward in his people. Just as true. Therefore, their doctrines are even more scary, foolish, and evil. That all the Gentile nations, which are a drop in the bucket to the Creator, he's not even trying to save them. They're all the examples of enemies, fulfilling a purpose, grant and everything, but nevertheless, they all had a chance. They were supposed to repent, with Israel and Jerusalem back then, like they say, the hell preachers and stuff, people asking questions. This is their answer, that it was up, they were responsible for this, for believing and being converted and saved. But all of those Gentile nations are going to burn in hell for all eternity because they had a chance, and the free gift came to all even back then. Foul preacher man to support his damnable delusional doctrine of ripping flesh off for all eternity and torturing people mercilessly. Not only is that not true, nobody was righteous, not even one, and nobody has. What are they talking about? Not Jerusalem was righteous. Not even the saints were spiritually righteous, had the Father's righteousness. They were the examples and types of his righteousness. But it wasn't given yet. Otherwise, what came that was greater in Messiah? Something greater has come. Judgment stronger when the greater thing comes. This is why, if they repented long ago, If they heard the very things, they would repent, but now something's greater has come. Now their judgment's going to be very strong. He's saying they're worse than the people they thought they were better. Jerusalem was worse than the nations that perished. That, as an example, he's saying that would have believed if they heard these things. You guys are worse while you think you're better, condemning them constantly, people. Yes, I say, unless you repent, you'll also perish. They were no better, while they believed they were better in their heart, above better, which is evil. To be stuck in pride like that. He resists the proud. Yet Adam needed to eat the tree from the tree of life, live continually. And it was guarded, and dying he shall die, and he died. To who and what he is, the flesh dies. But that's not the real meaning for us. The real meaning is to perceive what it really means. Dying to self, dying daily. That the judgment starts when someone believes. They die, and now the only way to get understanding is through death. The only way to start learning and growing is being born. And then you start learning and growing. As someone's born, they're also dying. As a baby is born, the moment it's born, it's also dying every day, getting closer to death every day. There's no other way to get truth, to get understanding, to do Father's works, unless someone's born and start dying to who and what they are. And they have to go through the sword, his word, the sword, which will just flesh, to get to the tree of life. A way was made available, and it will be available forever. Yes, forever and ever. Stupid preacher people, man. The gospel of death and eternal destruction. The eternal space and darkness. The darkness is so great compared to the size of space and the earth. The earth doesn't exist. You might as well say you can't see it, because eternal darkness and a tiny little earth, it doesn't even exist. That's how great the darkness is in this world. That's what they're spiritually at their heart is. It's eternal darkness. That's why they have to hide and cover the truth. That if you go up a little bit higher, it's just eternal blackness and darkness. How would they know? They don't. They just need to be illusion, getting punished, deceiving the world, because Satan deceives the whole world, because they're against the Creator. Everything that man does has to go against whatever truth is. If the earth's not moving, well, then it's spinning. If a day starts in the morning, well, then it starts at night. If the new moon is full, glory new, representing good, then it's perfectly black. It's not billions of years, if it's 2000, then it's billions, trillions, or billions of years through a natural process without the Creator. And the only reason they exist is because of the Creator. While they say these words, they shoot themselves in the foot. Not it. The only reason this tree exists is because of doesn't grow for any other reason except that the Creator makes it grow, and that his law is connected to him, and this is why it grows, and he's in control over all of it. No, a seed grows because of man's understanding apart from the Creator. Why it grows and sprouts. Complicated long words and phrases to people, instead of just give truth, that the only reason it sprouts and grows is because the Creator makes it grow, and it's part of his law. And whatever he wants to, if he doesn't, it won't grow that. But then now, spiritually speaking, reaping what someone sows was given through the natural. All Israel wouldn't reap literally if it was doing evil. That's not the real meaning. But the creation is speaking these spiritual truths, full of meaning everywhere. Everything means something. Just because the world doesn't know it, it has nothing to do. It means something that's connected to the Father's truth and word. Yet Cain will not reap what he should reap for sowing and working. This is hard time to be in sin. No wages, no good wages for working for the beastly kingdoms and in sin continually. He says, this is more than I can bear. Too bad. You murder someone, this is what you get now. But then they're going to kill me. Don't worry, I'll mark. I don't accept this. I don't say you're a good monster and you can go Dexter on everyone and kill all the bad guys. No, in fact, 180 from this. Whoever kills Cain, that killed someone, 7 times worse. The judgment. No incentive. The opposite. You dare do this, it's going to be even worse for you. That's how he doesn't accept it. Doesn't mean people won't do it ever. That's not the point. This is showing his judgments. And then whoever kills the man that killed Cain or killed Abel, it's even worse. And it keeps going worse until there's an utter destruction, which just ends it all with fury and wrath and hurts a lot of people. That's why wars break out like this and finally end. Because finally, at some point, the guy killing the guy that killing the guy, it's so crazy wrath that boom, they just destroy themselves and it ends. That's the only reason a war stops. There's no winning and losing. It's a delusion. Everything is. The only reason a war stops is because of judgment. After everyone kills everyone and destroys everyone, it finally is like, it's a snowball that blows up on the bottom of the hill. Not because it won something, it's because it blows at the end. And whoever wins, wins, you know, and whoever loses, loses. Yeah, okay, could go along with that. And if someone gets in and there's people around there, that's why they got a dog pile. Because it can with insanity so quickly because of his judgment. But they don't teach that on CNN. The church world doesn't teach anything about his judgments that they can read hundreds of times over and over again, keep his judgments. That the harlot does not learn his judgments or believe in his judgments at all. They could read it. That they despise his judgments and his laws and commandments and everything. But specifically, they hate his judgments. They don't believe this. Why? Because pride don't judge me. No one judges me. I'm my own throne in God. There's no one actually above me judging me right now. And because they say that, it's true for them. In a delusion, the reason why they're doing that is because of his judgments. Otherwise, they would never say and believe and do such a thing if they actually believed in his judgments. They would be declaring the exact opposite. The only reason someone's doing that is because they're being punished and his judgments are existing. That's not proof for them. It's proof for people who can see Father in them, who have the Spirit, who have Messiah in them. Not proof for the world. For only those that can see. It's obvious. It becomes obvious that the only reason someone's doing is because of his judgment. The reason a guy goes out to, steal from a house or rob or kill or whatever is because that person's being punished. Because he can't not do it. It's a punishment. You do one thing, oh, okay, a little more mercy and a little more power from you. All he has to do is just let him be unleashed. And then the devil takes over and the man has to go out and do whatever he does. Literally out of control. The Father hands them over to their sin so they complete their lust. Because the punishment for sin is more sin. And the punishment for more sin is more sin until destroyed. That's how he doesn't accept it. That's like going the backwards way into darkness. Further and further from the Creator. You have to eat more sin so that someone can finally say, yes, the Creator's way is righteous and true, and this way was nothing but death and destruction. There's a way that seems right in man's eyes, but the end of it leads to death. What is the church world's understanding as I've seen on this? joining religion and not going to hell in the future. It's for some all eternity. That's their understanding of this powerful verse. That means nothing to them. Zero. The reason why they're teaching literal torment for all eternity is because they're in the way of death right this minute, because that was true about them. Otherwise, they would never do such a thing. They would never be so shamefully in a strong delusion, teaching massive lies and doctrines of demons of being tortured for all eternity. The reason why they're doing is because they fulfill the scripture, that there are ways that it's right, but the end of it leads to death. And that doctrine is death for all eternity. The reason someone's doing that is because they're getting punished for the sin in their heart, where he makes you more and more of a to be seen by those that can see, not the world, even though someone is blinded even with earthly things, where one devil points to another and says, wow, he's offended because that guy's also blind himself. But he needs to be offended and angry at the poor guy on the street and throw quarters at his face. Because he's offended, he himself is poor in his own heart, he's in destruction. So he doesn't want to see that. Doesn't like that reality. So it lives a lie with hypocrisy. It destroys itself if it destroys the other person. It's destroying itself. And read, if you do this to someone else, you do it to your own flesh. That's your own flesh you're destroying. They don't see the connection. And literally, spiritually, they do that to themselves. It's a reality. They'll destroy themselves for destroying someone else or hurting someone else. Full of wrath at all times. The slightest thing that doesn't go someone's way, it just blows up in wrath, ready to destroy people. And apologizes, it's never real. It does it through escape, going around the problem, justifying it, looking like it's sorry, but it never actually was. I don't know how else to say it. It happens all the time. They're not actually sorry in the heart. They found a way to go around it. That's why they can look like they say, I'm sorry, because they found a way around it in their mind and heart. Anything but directly facing the Creator and saying, I sinned, did evil in my heart. They did not do that. The blind world doesn't do that. It goes around the problems like it's sorry. You wouldn't want to know what's in the heart when it's all by itself and walks away, punching things and punching itself, going, I shouldn't have even said that. It repents for even looking like it's sorry. I shouldn't have let the people go. Chase them and kill them all. I can't believe it. I repent for letting the Israelites go. This is insane. And then they go into their destruction. That repentance wasn't real. It was a judgment on Pharaoh. It was a blinding judgment so that his go as if Pharaoh's a nobody, showing his power. Pharaoh looks like he does something good, but he didn't do it from the heart. He was punished, and that's why he let the people go, because the Father needs the people to go. And so he gets Pharaoh, an enemy that's getting harder and harder, to let him go, to show that this should have never did. When Pharaoh comes to, he repents for doing that. He doesn't know why he did it. I can't believe I did this. Chase them to death, destroy them all. I'm just saying it never was an actual good work from the heart. It looked good through a blinding punishment and judgment so that he gets his people to go. That's how easy it is for the Creator to blind someone and have someone pass right through. One can put a bullet in someone's head of their own power and their own throne. They believe they can, though. That's the way they live their life the rest of their life, in a delusion. It's not actually true, so it's a delusion. And in a delusion, someone's constantly getting punished and hardened even further to believe even more the lie that they believe. It gets even stronger, which is getting away from the Creator even more. Free will. It believes at 90 years old way more than it did at 30. everything that's a lie. It's worse. They wax worse and worse, harder and harder. Someone that's 80 without the Father is worse than they were at 40. They're even harder. They're even more unchangeable and stubborn. They hate Messiah's people if they were to come across them, even more than 40. They hate everything that's actually good more than they did 40 years earlier. Their masquerade is even stronger, twice as strong as it was at 40, because they're doing, just for the sake of not really saying it's literally twice, that's not the point. Because their sin is twice as strong, their masquerade is twice as strong, which means they're even more in a delusion, even more mask, which means the lie is even stronger. The sheepskin over the wolf is even stronger and thicker. They're more of a lie now than they were 40 years earlier. That's why we see patterns with things. They don't want to tell anyone that. Secret judgment, secret to them. It's why there's patterns to what people do and why there's a reaction. And anymore, I can't even see the lie, hardly. Only the Creator's truth through all darkness, only seeing the truth and good lesson. This person did this because of this, and this person reacted this way because of this, and things of the heart, only seeing like good only. But that's not why the world created something. It did it out of delusion and in darkness, wanting money and trying to get rich and famous. That's all it cares about. So then if we were to say this is why this person is, it's not saying that that's why that was made. It's all I meant, it's all I'm ending up seeing anymore is good, pure truth, even the darkness. Like it's getting harder to see whatever the carnal way was, without the Father. I don't know what that is. I'd have to like try and remember the former things. It's getting harder to remember. Because when the heart's actually changing, now you can't just snap your fingers and change it back to what it was. It's like, it's impossible. You have to just try to remember, try to understand why something's carnally done, the reason why. Try to remember how the condition was. And it's the same for those that have a stony heart still. They can't do the things of the Father's heart, and for those intention and reason, it has to fake it constantly to what it looks like. Can't actually do good with a stone for a heart. But the world's so lost, it can't see what false intentions and sin and pride and all, it can't see any of these things. So it's just going to say, I don't do it. It's banking on its cover that it's so good and strong. And all the people around them will agree with them because they're in another world. And they already know that. They already know how to use this tool of the numbers. And because of the numbers, boom, we're true, you're false. That's what it does. Well, we don't get that. We don't get to live that because that's a lie and a delusion and evil. And it's not about the numbers, but there's no reality to it. We literally don't have that. It doesn't even exist. It fits the doctrine, what we're supposed to become. Whatever the teaching is, the reality fits it. We don't have that. Not 10,000 people at any point that will just support it. It's always needing to defend it. And we can't defend anymore. You just let it go, which is an impossible task for mankind to do, is let it go. Let your name be trashed. Let them do this evil. Let them go. They have no clue. Religion has clue what it requires to love the enemies. They're not being sent these tests. They're blind. The real test is being attacked without even a cause. which is something that would make someone go insane the most, and then to overcome this thing. The crazy thing that no one would overcome of themselves. Now we got to overcome it. Oh, this person just did the wickedness. Let it go. For real, in the heart, you know. We don't saying words. That's all the world does is say words. If I say I'm wise and it's good, no reality to actually doing it. It doesn't even know when it's breaking that. And yet it still says those words or this or that. It still says. Doesn't even realize when it's breaking it constantly. It's so crazy. It's like a guy getting caught on cops. And then like some of them will start doing anything and everything to try to defend themselves and say, I didn't do it, it's not. And it's like obvious. It's obvious. As an example here, of what's going on spiritually everywhere. It's obvious. It's incredibly obvious they did it. And they're swearing and they're doing this. They're crying. They're doing everything like a baby that's necessary to get attention and make it look like they're telling the truth. They've been doing that since they were born. They just found a better way to do it with like more sneakily. That's it. A baby just screams because it knows if it does that, it's going to get attention and get what it wants. Selfish. I'm not saying it happens every single time. I'm just saying it happens all the time, though. It happens a lot. So mankind just learns how to blend, how to hide. It never actually grows out of it. It's a child forever without the Father in this world. It never grows out of it. And so it will do this to protect and maintain its image because it can't believe it got caught. Caught is the most viciously evil thing that there is. These people being caught by the cops, if they could get away with it and had power, they would slaughter all of them and get away and run away. They would say it's justified because why? They got caught. That's it. They don't care about what they did. That's not evil. They're angry because they got caught. That's it. I would like to scream this out with the giant trumpet, that this is all mankind cares about, is being his image got caught, exposed. He doesn't care about the sin at all, only that it's a sin that he got caught. And now there's a vengeance and a murderous hatred to repay someone that, in this example, they just got caught. They didn't do any evil to them. They need to repay and vengeance for someone that didn't do the actual sin they did, but they just got caught. That's it. Now they got to murder them. How many times have they shown this in the movies? It's justified in their mind and in this world. They do it with their heart all the time. Mankind does it. The person gets caught, just ends up being caught, and now the person that just comes across that is in the way. They need to be taken out because through that person it got exposed or caught. Where was the sin? Where was the thing that now I need to go and murder someone? It's only angry because it got caught. And so every preacher man in the world, they don't care about sin. They don't know what it is. If they were to be exposed and caught what they're actually doing, they would rage because it's true. Because it's true what they do, the lie, the evil. They would rage for getting caught. Now they got to kill Messiah because he spoke truth. What sin did he do to them? They just got caught and exposed. He didn't do any actual evil works towards them. And that's why Messiah is the perfect example of this truth and teaching. And this is what in the real world with his people. It doesn't mean they never make mistakes or anything, but this is what man's doing, carnal man is doing. They need to kill him because they're being exposed. He's in the way of their religion, of their system, of their business, of their righteousness, of themselves, of their power, their greed, their control of the people. They lust after having people smile and look up to them. Messiah gets down and washes the disciples' feet. They're doing the opposite in the heart. They're not doing what Messiah did. That's abomination to a carnal man. Everything that's actually true and good is an abomination to a natural man, the beast, false prophet, the beast. They're in the lake of fire already. The wrath of the devil, and the fire is always burning. Wherever corruption is, there's fire, destroying it. It's already true. That's why we read full fire. There's this destroying Gehenna fire, destruction out of unbelief and sin and corruption. Full sum out of the fire was fear. They're already in the fire. Now they need to go into they need to still go through fire, but wide gateway of destruction, fire, bad way, you must say, bad fire, which is good, but it's bad. It's necessary. But it's bad to be in destruction. No one can see what death is until they start becoming alive. There's no contrast. How could someone see? The only way to see a dead man 6 feet under is to be alive. If they were dead themselves, they wouldn't see all the other dead. Seeing spiritually, spiritualized, seeing truth. The dead man can't see that he's dead and that others are dead. It's just what it is, death. They don't know anything else. The way of peace they have not known. Literally not known, just doesn't know. All it knows is waste, destruction, and attacking, and murdering, and death, and lying, and masquerading, and deceiving, and cheating, and robbing, and stealing, and adultery. That's all it knows. It's abomination to start speaking of actual sin, because it doesn't see actual sin. It's never doing it, not in reality. It's according to the lying wonders and works of Satan. You shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And so it is. That's the deception. Right from the beginning, revealed. Satan says, the serpent says, you're gods. For what? Breaking his voice. You shall not surely die. You'll be as gods, and you'll know good and evil. It's a lie. The exact opposite is true. Because they're breaking the Father's voice and in sin, proving they don't know what good and evil is, while sinning, the enemy deceives and says, you know good and evil because you're sinning. Sin is good. That's the deception. It's what's in the mind and heart. It can't be that this is bad. It's not bad. It's good. They call good evil and evil good. Right from the beginning, it's always been there. For breaking the Father's voice, which is actual sin. Listening to the enemy, which is, sin, breaking the Father's voice. For doing this, for doing sin, you shall be as gods. This is good. You'll know good and evil. That's a severe twisting of truth. They will not know good and evil. The proof that they didn't know good and evil is listening to the enemy and doing evil, breaking his voice. Proof they don't know good and evil is. If they did, they wouldn't have done it. They would say, this is evil, this is good. Do the good thing. But it's not divided. It's all one big giant lie and one big darkness and pot of darkness. The good and evil right along with it's all in one thing. There is no difference between the two. Everything it sees is perversion and death and corruption. Because to the impure, all things are impure. Is that the right word? Doesn't matter. To the perverted, all things perverted. It means when they actually see good, they will call it impure and perversion. There's a real reality to this, and it's scary that it's not being seen at all in this world. And what an example of this is when they see actual love or care in the heart, they will call it perversion and wickedness. When they see actual humble, which is not in this world, it's not the guy walking and everyone around him humble. It doesn't even exist in this world. The world doesn't know any good. It's in and of the world. Of the God only teaches for sin is good. Only darkness is good. It only knows darkness. That's it. Therefore, when it sees something it's never seen before. And we'll call it perversion and evil. And I mean everything. Oh, you don't steal in the heart like we all do? They need to put stealing on you and try to make you like a thief. And they say that this thing is robbery and no good. You're stealing like everyone else, like we are. And when they think they prove that you do that, somehow you're the one that's evil, but they're not, for proving that you're just like them. They can't see that they just condemn themselves. The only way to do what they're doing is also condemn themselves. The only way to put sin on someone to try to prove they're doing this sin just like me. The only way to do evil is also be a fool and condemn itself, a hypocrite every time it does it. And somehow it can't see that. Only the person it points to is the fool and evil for doing that. But for self doing the exact same thing, oh, I'm not evil. Only he is. It's blind. It's extraordinarily blind. It's happening all the time. They instantly already know how to put sin on someone else. Carnal man just already knows how. It puts what it is on someone else and then responds as if that's on someone else. That's unrighteous. That's wicked. It just automatically puts what it is on the other person and responds based on this secret putting on evil to someone else. It responds as that's already true. When it put that on someone automatically and responding out of that, then if the other person tries to speak, there's such a God in their own mind. They only speak according to what they already put on you. If you even respond with one word, you already admitted to their delusional mind that you are exactly what they secretly put on you. So maybe sometimes you shouldn't say anything. That's what I'm figuring out. Sometimes you can't say anything and let the fool smoke in its own folly. They're doing this constantly. The coward, it's constantly putting on them. Oh, it got exposed for stealing. It's going to put that on you now and respond out of you being a thief as if you already did that. And there's no excuse for it. I'm saying in the case of not doing this evil, they'll just do that automatically anyways. You're a thief because they put it on you secretly. And they will respond out of you already doing stealing. They just they put a false foundation on people and are responding according to that's a God in its own mind. It's sick. Doing whatever it wants, not without being punished, not without being in a severe delusion. Every time it does it, it gets to enjoy being a hypocrite. Every time it does it, it's going to do it even more for doing that and wax worse and worse. That's what it gets for reward, death. Every time it attacks like this falsely, it's a hypocrite also. Every time. There's no other way to sin, in reality, sin and do this evil towards someone without being a hypocrite. And that's going to be revealed someday. Every single attack, they were a hypocrite, man. I can't imagine the shame. The very thing that someone tries to hide, they're so mighty God and I'm so good. And it's literally the opposite. Their whole life was hypocrisy. Oh my. Oh man. You know, it needs to be considered. But the wicked only live once. So that's foolishness to them. And they're wise in their own eyes for believing that. So they go YOLO because they need to bury all of that. They'll never be revealed. There's no God. So therefore I say there's no creator, and there's not. You're a fool. They believe that won't ever be revealed. They don't know who the creator is at all. Zero. They think the creator will allow that to go without being revealed and unnoticed by, all. No, not happening. Every secret thing's going to be revealed, just like they can read the very things that carnal religious leaders do evil, deceiving people and doing all these works with their heart continually. Those very things they claim they're going to be revealed, that they did do them constantly. That their only intention from the heart to destroy people so that it can rise itself up and get worship, but then secretly in the heart being punished for the very thing they do. So therefore we read someone that a liar, what do they in Proverbs? The one destroyed by the liar, despises the one destroyed by their own lies. There's a disgust already in there for doing what they're doing. It's in there somewhere in their heart. It's secret. They think it's secret when it's revealed to those that are saying. But there's a punishment for getting worshipped by the crowds, worshiping someone on a stage. They're getting worshipped. This is a great sin. This is utterly backwards. They're smiling on the stage because of all that power and worship they're getting. But they're getting punished. And what their heart really is disgusted that all these people actually worship it. Therefore, it hates those people with its heart in reality, while it goes on camera saying, I love my fans. You stupid liars. And people believe just because they say that, oh, it's true. They're lying. It's obvious they're lying. But because the rest of the world's blind, saying this doesn't mean anything. Because it's not obvious to them. They need to hide their sins constantly. They're the cowards. Can't face the creator in their own sins. So if they hear it's obvious out, they already are doing evil only. They don't care about what's good or any of that. They already have in mind, all I have to do is get the crowd behind me and this person's a fool. They're doing evil constantly like that. They don't actually care about anything that's good or evil. Just like a child finding an escape, it's robbery that it did and then thinks it's wise when it does it. It's a game to them. And it becomes a game to those that do it continually until they're caught and destroyed. They have to do more until it's over. Someone wants to live that life, well, then they will live that life. You can't stop them. People are living it spiritually. This is the real nasty thing. The robber is a little more honest than the false prophet in religion. Not that he's honest, but he's more honest compared to him. False prophet points at that robber, condemns him to hell for all eternity, so it can hide that robber, and it's robbing 5 people right before its pulpit. It needs to do evil and condemn the actual literal robber to hide that it's a robber. And every liar that lies to people is also robbing temples. They don't love. False prophet don't love his sheep. Doesn't care. It only uses them. Just like Messiah says, the hireling doesn't care. It cares not. That means literally it has no care. I mean, some of these words are so simple and they just can't be comprehended until it's given. It literally cares not, zero. It doesn't mean it cares a little bit or 5% or 50%. A hireling, if it's a hireling, it has zero care, zero. But all of a sudden, Scripture and especially Messiah's words are despised with a little bit of truth on the meaning behind it and what it means. What are they going to do? Try to say it means that they care 50%? It's obvious they despise his word. They start getting angry at the same scriptures they quote every Sunday. They start getting angry now because it was only taught falsely, lies. Nothing to do with the truth. Some kind of delusional meaning to every single verse. With actual meaning, all of a sudden it despises every word, while it masquerades as loving his word. No, it doesn't. It doesn't love his word. The carnal man don't love his word. So his word is against the carnal man in every way, shape, and form imaginable. Every word is against the carnal man. How could he love it? But everyone's a robber besides me in religion. That's all blind-sided, short-sighted. He can't see anything. All the people in the world and churches and stuff could be being destroyed. As long as it's not literally destroyed, there's the rapture coming still. That's how delusional it is. So selfish. I'm not going to save them when their destruction comes, even literally. It's going to be a hard fall. Yes, it's going to happen again because it always did. People will be eating their babies to stay alive in religion. It's coming. And if it's already elsewhere, they're not going to boast about it on CNN. Maybe Babylon is going to fall last because it's most prideful, because it's the country that nobody can touch. We sit as a widow. No one could touch us. We sit as a widow, just like we read Revelation. It's the same spirit of Jerusalem, same spirit of the Egyptians. It don't matter what time it is. It's the exact same sin. It's going to happen on a grand scale. It's too easy for the Father to judge a nation, with actual destruction now for all its sin and evil. It's too easy for him. We read he whistles, like whistling to a dog, and it comes. In Isaiah, he whistles, and troops come and destroy whatever he says to. What is going on in the mind of the troops that are destroying, completing a father's judgment? Delusion. You have to be in delusion to do that much wickedness. So it's like a protection, actually, where no one actually does this out of clarity. It's all done through a blinding delusion. It's like a protection, even right with it. I don't know what do you call that? Even through the evil, there's mercy and protection. He doesn't allow anyone to do actual evil without being delusional and blind. Which is not good to be delusional and blind, but the Romans were no good. And the Romans came to Jerusalem to complete a judgment. So the Creator whistles and says it's over. Jerusalem's coming down. And actually it's handed over to Messiah for the judgment. That's why he said, I'll be coming on the clouds or whatever, language. Jerusalem's going to be destroyed. The high priest couldn't believe it. Oh, that's a prideful man. All things were given to Messiah. All things were given. He's above every name except the Father himself, to do what the Father always did. And it doesn't matter. So then the Romans came and destroyed Jerusalem, and it's a bad time. Women ate their babies. They starved. There was famine. Like every time a nation falls, all these plagues come. There's some warning signs, and nobody will believe them. They're already here. No, it can't be just because I don't want it to be. It's what's going on in the heart. It's already here. It's already over. It's already over. So if it takes a few more years or whatever, it's already over. It's like this thing won't be reversed. And mankind becomes very blind and stupid. He can't stop the famine. He can't stop the war. Stop it. It's a punishment. It's a judgment. Yes, it should be simple. The truth is always simple. They won't be able to stop it because people are blinded, and people will start rebelling where they were hoping and believing they wouldn't rebel. People start doing weird things all of a sudden for some strange reason, and now the food supply starts getting screwed up. Why is that happening? Because it's getting punished. It's a delusion to believe some guy is going to come and fix it. One man, if we only had a better president or something. But people will be ready to believe that. I'm sure of it. They'll be ready. They're already ready. And maybe to some degree, it even looks like going in that direction for a short while. And then boom, it's over. A little bit of proof so that people believe the lie is what I'm saying. Oh, it starts looking like it's all good, just so everyone can believe the massive lie, and then boom, destruction. Makes it sound like we want it to come or something. Makes it sound like it's evil, eternal world. They don't know why it's being said. They have to make that accusation. They don't have a choice. That are against the Creator and His judgment. They have to make that. That's what else are they going to do? How do you get rid of what you don't like? You got to accuse it as being evil. There's no other choice. The only way to attack the Father's truth is sin, to do evil. You can't attack and do evil like that without actually sinning. It's pretty amazing. And start letting go that everyone has some kind of control. If the Father says you won't overcome this, you won't, period. As long as someone believes they can, I'll be proving that they can't until they finally agree and start lining up with the truth that they're no good and can't, you know? It's a delusion when he gives someone to like carnally overcome something so that the person believes a lie that they did that. The only reason they did that is because the Father gave them a punishing delusion to believe the lie that they did that. And then they go and condemn others and point at them instead of wanting to help them, lead them to give them truth. They raise themselves up and condemn what they don't want to see, because when they see all those other people, they see it, they look at themselves. And now that they see this carnal thing, or whatever it is, maybe they stop smoking. Now they're going to condemn walkers in their heart. Don't ever say behind a camera and with a voice, this is what's going on in the heart. It can't do any good in the heart. It needs to condemn when it sees itself out there. Well, I stopped. They better stop. They all stop. I'm better than them. That's the sin. It's rebellion. And so seeing that these things are true, it gets very confusing very fast, because who knows what's happening exactly with each person or each thing or this, that, or, you know, this here or that there. The Creator's complicated, layered, not complicated, but so many judgments happening all the time, everywhere. You can't see it. You can't see His judgments perfectly like that. See a little for ourselves, here and there a little for someone, but you can't. His judgments are past finding out. It's like, it's monstrously huge, too big to find out. And it's all happening at the same time, which is even, it's like a whole nother, it's screaming a lot of power. Just all working out like that, and nobody could do anything about it. So the nation's being judged on 10,000 different levels, and then each person is being judged individually. And then each believer, their walk with the Creator, being judged individually, finding out, if I do this, then this, you know, all these things happening at the same time. You can count on it that someone does someone evil. They go and kill Jacob, you know, with their heart. That person's going to be cursed. He's going to receive a nice judgment for it. You can count on it. Sometimes it looks like it's not happening, delayed because of the Father's mercy. It tricks people. Everything that's true, man's backwards. And the carnal man, like, attacks someone and does evil, and he's like, nobody saw me. Nobody saw me. And this is like a 50-year-old guy doing this. I've seen it. They like laugh. They're like, the reason why they're laughing is because it's a punishment. That's why they're laughing. It's because somewhere inside they know they did evil, but they thought, you know, a rock didn't hit my head right now for doing this evil to that person. Send them on vacation and then say, hey, buddy, while it's on vacation, you're fired. You're not coming back. And then another guy puts it on you that you did some kind of evil like that. It's sick when their own buddy actually did it. They even protect their friends from the sin they do. Devils protect other little devils. For why? They don't love them. They're just using each other. Spiritual horror, like a spiritual horror. Fornication. Some nasty, serious evil, happening all the time. Why? Oh, this person was a little slower, looked a little bit different. And the job wasn't for him. He needed to do something else. That's all. Wasn't good at it. So what? So now attack what we're offended. Yes, the manager. Go on vacation and now you're not going back. All secret, didn't have a clue. That's some pretty sick evil right there. And then boasting in it, telling the whole entire congregation of, in the few people in the office. The manager tell all his workers in there that are in there, a few of them, that he did this, boasting about it. And what do the other people do? They see that something about that's evil and they just stay quiet, kind of like looking at each other like, yeah, that's kind of evil, but I'm not any good myself. It's a weird confusion, man. So it gets all quiet and people look at each other like they know something about that, like, you did what? But nobody dares question the manager for doing that. So if someone were to say that's evil, wicked, that person would blow up that just boasted about it. Why? What on earth is that besides confusion? It's just boasting about it. Just told everyone the evil it did. Send someone on vacation and then say, while they're on it, don't come back. With no warning signs. And now if someone were to simply say what you did there, that it's boasting of, is evil, and this could be applied to any situation for anyone. I'm just saying if it were to happen, then they would get fuming, angry, and rage. Why? Exposed. No one tells me anything, God. But if I say, then it's okay when I say it. Someone else says it's evil, but, kill them. That's some serious confusion, man. No wonder light has no fellowship with darkness. There's nothing to talk about because all we would be talking about is a delusion and confusion. If we're only talking about real things that we actually see, and darkness is taught a delusion and things that they don't see, there's a mixing. Everything evil that we're learning is not evil, but actually offending and exposing the darkness. How is there any fellowship there? And if someone starts mixing, they're going to be punished for not being set apart. The Father will, punish the mixing of the two. Or starting to mix, you'll be punished. How does this happen? Kinds of ways. Who knows how it might happen? Some wrath. Maybe there's some shameful thing you do. Starts sucking you into some unknown sin, and then you find out about it later. Who knows, man, how he will do that to each individual. All I'm saying is that they will be punished for breaking his way. So they find out, wait a second, I'm being punished for this. So now I need to be set apart, which will be what? Tribulation, because the people find out you need to be set apart will accuse you as evildoers, as murderers for being set apart. They don't believe in that at all, even though they go to church. Actual being set apart is, what are you, better than us? And you got to live with that. Too bad. Why do they say that? To defend their evil. Attack what's good. Therefore, defend the evil. Nobody attacks good without defending evil. If they were not defending evil for real, they wouldn't be attacking what's good. That's a giant circus. Clowns everywhere. Spiritually speaking, I mean, it's like a giant circus that's gone crazy. It's out of control. There's no order. It's lawlessness. Clown everywhere with big red noses. Yes, Pinocchio's nose is bigger than this tree. It might be bigger than the whole entire earth. Who knows how big it is? I suppose they know exactly it's a ball, and that they were flying around in space way higher than, there's Earth, there's where we live. Oh, that's so stupid. So when in reality, like, no one can go any higher to see like one actual full state and its borders. You can't even go high enough to do that. Or maybe 2 or 3 states, but I don't even know if it's even one state. And yet they saw the globe Earth, tiny little dot, whole entire world, and everything in it. The foundations of the deep. What foundations of the deep? They found it out. They were thousands of miles above the earth. Found out it's a ball. Found the foundations of the deep. Not very deep after all. Mankind rises way above his reality, his place, not keeping his estate in place. He's a god in his own mind and rises up like a rocket in the sky, looking down on everyone else. And they're tiny compared to me. And then these people have to keep their word on not speaking truth. The liars have to be punished the rest of their life for this massive lie. In a dark destruction, knowing, still loving itself, wanting death, but it flees from them. And loving self's soul so much that it can't do that dirty deed of take itself out. Because it flees from them, if indeed that's what happens to someone. No one can even kill them unless the Creator sets it out to be possible to be done. As it flees to, they can't do it. What makes them can't do it? Well, they can come up with reasons and natural understandings, but the real reason, because it flees from them, Father's judgment. He determines that, then it can't be done, period. What don't people understand or like about this truth that the Father saw him? Whole backwards, man. This place is ready to blow up. All of they reversed everything. Even the creation itself is perfectly backwards and reversed. Tiny little globe Earth spinning 666,000 miles per hour around the giant, huge sun worship. If it's bigger than the Earth, well, then the sun's way bigger than it. If it's not moving, well, then it's moving very fast. I don't know how those rockets could keep up. I suppose it's such a god in its own mind. Okay, the Earth is spinning and going in a circle at 600-something thousand miles per hour. Whenever we say that, but now when it comes to a rocket, it's standing still so that it can come back on Earth safely. They just do whatever they want. We stop the Earth just over here, but over here it's spinning. And if someone exposes the Trinity doctrine, we'll explain it completely contradictory normally do, because now we need to. And when that goes away, wipe the sweat off the brow and go back to the congregation and explain it the normal way. Change it whenever you need to. That's why we read tossed by every wind of doctrine. They just change and lie all they want whenever they want. They don't care, they're devils. Nothing is firm, nothing is solid and stays the same. It always needs to move. See, in reality, if it was moving 600,000 miles per hour and they're flying back to Earth in the space shuttle, wouldn't they have to be traveling at least that fast right along with it, or go right against it, and the Earth runs right into the space shuttle and at 600,000 miles per hour, and it blows up on Earth somewhere? So then I guess the only way to land on Earth is to go 600-something thousand miles per hour with the rocket, go in a circle like that, and also somehow come down on it slowly, and then finally you land. It's total insanity. I'm trying to, this is the insanity. It's literally as bad with everything. It's so blind, it's laughable, it's sad. With all the spiritual truth, it's that blind and backwards. It makes gods and it worships gods. That blind. It says, this is God. We made our golden calf. This is God now. And the Egyptians are punished for doing sin. The reason why they're doing sin, saying that this God is powerful. Scream to your God a little louder. Maybe he's on the toilet. Just speak a little louder. Maybe he'll hear you next time. And they're doing it, screaming to their God that they made, and it has no power. They're being punished. Someone wants to come out of a delusion and punishment like that, they have to go through the narrow way. At least start becoming sane in reality, in truth, with clarity, with peace, with righteousness, not in this crazy wide gate delusion. You can't tell someone they're that blind, though, personally. It doesn't work. You can't go in any kind of detail and believe that they're going to believe that they're blind. No, they're not going to believe that they're that blind. Don't they know that there's pride, lion's pride? It's not going to just believe it's that blind without the Father's mercy, showing. That's the only thing. That's the only the Father's going to show someone that they're that blind in reality. Otherwise, they won't. No. These cowards have to lie about all the things they've done, even the globe earth and the spinning earth and everything. They have to hide behind their cover, saying, they got the numbers with them. That's all. Forget the truth. Forget how obviously stupid it is. They have the numbers. Everyone else that's blind and deceived. The power of Satan and his lying wonders and a spiritual spell, blinding everyone else. They'll scream and support the lie, which is insanity. And then the person in charge of it or higher up there will be self-confident because of the people screaming. It starts believing a lie. There's an interesting video where the actual people, I forget what names, one or two of them, some guy going around, it's interesting nevertheless, said swear on the Bible that you went up to space and all this other stuff. And they couldn't do it. They got it. They started getting raging. They could do everything else, but they can't swear on the Bible. It's real strange. Why are they so afraid of doing that? It's weird. It's like the Creator made a way. There's always a way to show the foolishness and the error. I don't know how to explain that, but couldn't do it. You could find the video. They can't swear on the Bible. I'm not saying that it's even right to do. Swear on the Bible, man just says yes or no, because swearing is a type of yes or no in spirit. Without the Father's Spirit, a man has to swear, and it's always out of evil because it's desperately trying to defend itself. Swear, yes, I swear. The reason someone has to swear is because it's doing evil. So just say yes or no. And the testimony is straight to heaven, to the Father. Yes, then it's yes. No, it's no. You don't need anything else. Because if the Father is your witness and your conscience, who cares what someone else has? It's the truth. No need to swear. The yes is with it might as well be a swearing. It's that solid. It's perfect. The truth. Swearing without the Father's Spirit is this is what it looks like. It needs to be absolutely 100% true. If you swear, it's a big deal. But then when the Spirit of truth comes, you don't have to swear, because that swearing is a type of saying yes or no in spirit. It's the real thing now. There's no need to swear. Yes. And then the Father bears witness to the truth in spirit, truth, saying it's truth all the way to heaven. And it's actual truth. It's actual authority with real power and authority. There's no reason to swear. Without his spirit, people have to swear because they have no power. And it's a type of yes or no with power. You heard it was said to swear, but I tell you, don't swear. You heard it was said my father's word was a lie and garbage, and now I'm going against it. It's what it sounds like he's doing. He's not doing that. It goes deep to get the understanding of something that man can't understand himself. It's what people think, what they thought, their own delusional understanding, not knowing why existed and why don't do this now. There's an answer for everything. Anything more than yes or no, like Messiah said, is done through evil, of the evil. Because it's done without the Father, then it's just done through complicated lies and deceptions and trying to convince someone something. And it means nothing because they'll use swearing and still lie. They'll use swearing. If I say I swear on my grandmother's grave, they'll do that just so they can get away and lie with something, and it doesn't even work. But the Father takes it according to someone's word. If someone with their heart swears, it better be right if they're going to swear right now, or else they'll face the judgment of whatever that is for not owning up to whatever you swear. Not swear then, because the Father will take it to your word. That's something they don't understand in religion. Let it be to everyone's word according to their heart and their word. You say you see, okay, done, and then done. You see. You say you're not blind, okay, done. You say you're not blind, you won't be healed because you say you're not blind. Done. Say you swear, well then it better be true or else be punished for not being true. And then I guess every other example like something like that. There's like a accountability, it's not like a game, not a joke. It's a big deal what people say. Their heart, let alone with words, because words are coming from the heart. So then you don't have to say words. If it's in the heart, it's already real. Vengeance is in the heart, well then it's being punished vengeance on the enemy because that's evil. They deceive the world so badly that the Father's judgment is something way in the distant future, has nothing to do with now, and it's monstrously horrible and terrible, torturing forever. Therefore, when someone believes that, his actual judgments in contrast to that seems like it's no big deal, but not true. It's a delusion. But compared to being tortured forever, the carnal man not seeing anything goes, oh, that's his judgments? That's not so bad. And we have to watch someone boast in sin and love it and say it's not so bad. So then there's going to be scriptures that say don't be envious of the wicked. That makes sense. Real confusing real quick. Talking about lies is confusing. Like, you have to talk through the confusion. Right. Those that don't know, they don't care about the Father. They don't care about truth. They care about good and evil. They care about his judgments. So they'll just say things like this. And it's actually supposed to be like that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, how are they getting away with saying that? You might say. I've said that. They're getting away with saying that. Oh, it's no big deal to them. This is evil. Punish them. Strike them with lightning. I'm just saying that might come up to somebody's mind. And when the calamity comes on someone, all the prayer they do anything for them is a big deal. And they're in continual darkness compared to all the good and truth and life. It is bad, but compared to hell forever and being blind, yeah, it's not bad. From the person that's blind compared to hell forever, yeah, his judgments don't exist. It's not bad. And if people don't get punished how I think, tortured for eternity, then what's the point of all this? I should sin all I want. Usually they say things like have as much sex and murder, whatever, all the things I want. When someone does that, it reveals their heart. And what's scary is they're not even overcoming those things. They just made it look like they are by saying that. It's so, you have to go through a layer of delusion to get to the real thing. Are they really overcoming all that sin in the church world? But when they say something like that, it makes it sound like they're living his way. They're darn good, you know. Showing where the heart is. Oh, it badly wants to do all this lust and this or that, and a little bit of resisting, because in religion it needs to, you know, protect its image. It's a slavery to be in that condition, to want to do something badly, but like you got to hide it real good because I'm a religious man, instead of it actually being real, you know, with understanding and really overcoming something. And instead, in slavery, never able to say what someone is and do what they really want to do, you know, try to hide it constantly. That's a prison. And something true about prison is you want to go out, you can't. So doing something that you can't really do is to be in prison. Those who are in prison are envious of those not. Those who are below them, well, they might act like they like them. As soon as they rise up and have more money, envious them. Guess what? The one when they were below them, they never actually loved or cared about them. It's through selfishness and delusion and love for self. It never actually cared about that person. But now, if it knows somebody and it's raised itself up and it's got a nicer house and this and that, now all of a sudden it's envious of it with hatred. That's evil because he has more than me. That's why it's evil. But then it looks like it cares about the person that's like lower than them, eternally speaking. It doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's all done through the same selfish sin. It does not care. For the same reason up, the same reason down. I don't know how else to say it. The same hatred for having above. Well, now it's, you know, it's a sin, that thing. Also, the below thing is a sin, but it just looks like the opposite thing. But it's still a sin. It's being done through sin. If that same person rises up, all of a sudden there's envy and hatred for the person. That means they never cared about them. If they actually did, they wouldn't be envious and hate them now. If the love and care was there, it wouldn't change for them based on carnal things, you know. Wasn't there anyway. Never was. Everything is connected to self. Oh, you quit this job? You did it because of me. That's incredibly prideful and selfish. I had to experience it. You think they did it. They think you do something just for all of them. That's a God right there. Everything is attached to self and itself, and that's it. If you do something, it's because of me you did it. Sadly, that's true for everyone in this world, but you know, it's always going to do that. And do that to his people that had nothing to do with that. You can't quit. You can't leave me. Work with someone, they pretend to like you for 4 years, and then they do that at the end. They despise you utterly for moving on, for needing to go somewhere else. The Creator moving you. And they despise you all out of itself and selfishness. That's prison. That's bondage. It's already putting that on someone constantly. And you break out of this delusion, it's bondage in prison. It doesn't like it because you didn't do that with their permission. It's already that person in bondage in its own mind, putting debt on it. Because if someone were to leave now, it has nothing to do with one person, them. And now they're furious inside, contempt, anger, hatred, envy, wrath. That means that bondage and that debt was put in there. It was just thinking about itself, and you're their slave, being used. It's sick. Punishment. That's what people are doing. That's why they're friends, to put debt on each other and use each other until eventually someone doesn't need that person anymore. And then it becomes a great evil to the other person. How dare you not need me anymore? This is all out of blinding delusion and selfishness and pride. The child needs attention and care. It's insecure. The child gets jealous. Maybe even if you pick up a dog and pet it, or its brother or sister, I'm supposed to love me only. I'm the best. I'm the never goes away. Why do people get angry in real life and in the movies, women and stuff, and then men have their own, all out of sin, all of it. No actual clarity or care or understanding anywhere. It's all out of sin. And it's all fake. Crazy. To just put the sin on you when it has nothing to do with it, when you start doing actual good. They only saw evil when you did the good. Tribulation. They see love. Oh, you're a pervert. You wanna do what they think you'll do. The only thing that they're thinking about. So actual love is perversion to them when they see it. It's all about me. That's why you're doing this or that. They already put that on someone. They put that judgment and weight and debt on someone. And when you go outside of it, that's when people start raging. They already put that on someone. It's already on there. You're doing this for this reason. You got this much money. You're this. You're a loser. You got this job because of this, and you're that. Already judging everyone like that. It's no friend. It's already there. They've already raised themselves up as God, and in order to make themselves lift higher, they have to smash low people constantly. See that there's a bunch of people higher than them carnally in this world? How do they not see what they need to see? Oh, that doesn't exist because no one's higher than me. So they just make it go away. They don't think about it. It's not on their mind. Whatever go away, and it's gone. Why does it only bother someone that's sort of close to them that goes higher, but then it's okay for Bill Gates to be above them? Why? You think they really like Bill Gates? No. And if they didn't like the person sort of close to them, how could they like someone far away from them that has a bunch of money? It's an act. It's fake. No, they don't. That's why they already speak out of what they know already. Oh, you're just saying this about my God because you envy them. What are you, jealous? They're speaking out of themselves doing that. That's all they are. That's what they do all day long. Their heart is envious. So now when someone else does something about their God they worship or say something against it, it's going to claim what it is onto the other person, blind that it is exactly that itself. Smoking. Yes, there is a way. There is a narrow way, but no one will ever see it as good. They'll just claim the same old thing on the good narrow way. See, when someone is what they are all their life and that's all they see around them, when they see something else that's actually good, not doing that or this, they won't believe it. And they'll call it the evil thing because they don't believe it. Can't be. I didn't think there was any actual believers overcoming actual sin. That's an evil heart all along, masquerading as good, loving people when they actually hate the Creator's narrow way and everything that's good. They despise it bitterly. They never loved truth. They only made a show for it, which is a lie, which is a masquerade, which is a. When someone holds back their hatred for someone with their lips, like we can read in Proverbs, he deceives himself. Self-deceit exists. Someone hates, they want to rage, they want to punch you in the face, they want to hurt you, and they hold back with the lips. That's not good. That's the backwards thing. Now, actual rebuke and saying something, if it needs to be said, is the real thing. If that's done, that will be murdered, because they're the ones that hold back their hatred, which is the good thing. So if you were to hear someone rebuke a brother or something, they do the backwards thing, which is stay silent with full of hatred inside. They can read about it in their own Bible. They do the backwards thing, which is good, which is evil in reality. So when they see the real thing that nobody does, because they all hide with their lips the hatred inside, cover and look good with their image. The backwards thing, the doing the evil while thinking it's good. When they see the good thing, a little bit of anger, a little bit of rebuke, they'll call it wickedness. Of a delusion, doing the backwards thing all their life. Zero reality, zero. 100% blind. And then they speak of being righteous and, not blind and good, while doing the backwards thing that's obvious to those that are starting to see. You watch them do the evil, and they actually walk away steamingly good. They're much better than everyone else. Jealous, envious constantly. Doesn't matter if someone's 40 years old or 50 years old. Doesn't mean that they're mature. Just the carnal sort of mature, but the spiritual thing didn't come along with it like it's supposed to. How could you afford that? Grown man speaking to a little kid. How can you afford that? Christian grown man, right in front of everyone. First words. Who hasn't heard something like this? How could you afford? It's so blind and full of envy. It can't see how stupid and evil that thing and embarrassing that is, what it just did. And it actually believes it did good. If you were to say it's evil, something about it, it would trash you and start doing more evil to prove it's evil. Then it might even start coming to choke you and want to punch you out, proving it's wicked and wants to hurt you and do evil, and still believes it's good. Unbelievable. Because it's God. It's good no matter what it does. It can put a bullet in someone's head and justify it and says, I'm good. He deserved it. Seen it in the movies over and over. That's all I'll ever see if I were to see something. Why it was done, justification for it, while someone else is laughing that someone's head got cut off at. It's actual entertainment for them. No clue what's actually going on. Maybe that's why they like it so much, because they watch movies out of a comfort watching themselves openly now. They can finally be self instead of masquerading every day. They can just watch that everyone's like this and take comfort in the evil. There's these people robbing, shooting, stealing, killing, perversion, sex, drugs, whatever going on. Is their heart perfectly? They're watching themselves. So that's why they like it so much. They're not seeing what's really going on. Laughable when the world says it's just entertainment. No, it's not. They like the actual evil. Yes, they do. Once again, flip the switch and masquerade. I don't like killing people, but all it does is murder in its heart. And that's what we're speaking of, not what the delusional person is saying. Not based on delusion, on reality. The heart is murderous. That's the only thing we're talking about. Heart murders all day long. That's why it likes the murder. That's why murder is entertaining. Backwards, man. Why can't people see it? But somehow the truth is pouring out of it all. And someone, like, if they make it a little more realistic instead of like a joke where you kill 10 people, oh, no big deal. It's like unrealistic. If it's a little more realistic, give me the bottle, start filling up on alcohol, justify it, sleep it over, and now we gotta go and kill people because I killed person. Now you can't stop. Can't stop now. You got to do what's justified. It's justified in its own mind. It's going to continue to do it without believing it's evil. In fact, going in the opposite direction, saying, doing good now. And they show that truth in the movies without realizing they're doing that. Just only seeing the actual spiritual thing now. That's it. The truth only through everything. It's like bleeding out. It's pouring out of creation everywhere. Truth. It's accurate in the movies. That's what I'm saying. It's accurate, even with the exaggerations and everything. It's so often accurate. You just start seeing truth, regardless of the intention of why someone made this or that. A movie is what? Based off of actual life and living, with exaggerations. But it's based off what? The only thing man knows, his own life. They can't think of what they haven't thought of or done. Spiritually speaking, why people do things, all these things. That's what I'm talking about. They can only put onto the screen what their life is. No different. What they do themselves, they have to pour out on the screen. That's all. No one can comprehend what they haven't been or done or seen. Therefore, the truth is bleeding out of even movies. Interesting. Actually, I'm like, it's like it's not literally real because it's like a movie or something, but you seeing the creator's judgment through like a movie or this or that, whatever. It could be anything. It could be a commercial, it could be a movie, whatever. Seeing the creator's judgment, saying this is happening for this reason, and it's like all working out, even though that wasn't their intention. The creators of it, just making entertainment, making money, stories based on things that happen in life or exaggerated a little bit. So what? Still, like, the creator's judgments are like pouring out through the year. Wow, it's not very busy today. I'm almost always busy Friday. For everyone, 25 hours on Dairy Queen line. It's going to be like a 2-hour wait in the drive-through. Goodness. It's already bad. What happens if the food chain has a little more trouble? Can't imagine it. The lines will be ungodly. The supplies lacking. It'll just be missing. Won't be there. Everything's so artificially pumped and produced with so much speed. It's unnatural. That to break it is easier than any time before. To break what seems mighty and strong, producing more than ever before, is based on unrealistic things that are crazy. And so then it takes just a tiny bit to break it. because whatever happens, people's expectations rise to that just automatically. This is their expectation now because it's this. I should get to New York in the Boeing 747. This is my, anything slower than that is, this is slow, you know, where it would have taken like who knows how long on a horse and buggy, you know. And so then to break it would be pretty darn easy, pretty simple, pretty small to break it. The whole world's artificially been pumped up just to go back down, just so it can crash. Out of control. Why are they wanting to go faster and faster? Because they have no rest day and night. They're creating devices for evil. They're excited about it being used for evil. If pride and greed and selfishness could actually be seen, otherwise this is not evil. This is all good to mankind. God bless such and such rich and famous man that they have a statue of. Yes, just like we read, they bless the greedy, and the harlot blesses the greedy. All day long, they could read about it. That's how backwards it is. It blesses the greedy. It blesses the actual sin. Rich, famous preacher man blessing the greedy. And all the sheep blind can't see any of it. Like a judgment and punishment. And then if one goes down the ditch, all the others go with it because it's a judgment and punishment. If one goes, they all go. He is your leader, therefore let it be according to their mind and heart. If he goes down the spiritual ditch, so will you, because he's your leader. If he goes down, you go down with him, because he's your leader, not the creator who never goes into a ditch. It's like the carnal man's so full of anger and pride towards the creator that it's digging a hole. Like, I'm going to put the creator in this little 5-foot hole. And he's digging and sweating and like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then he trips and falls in there, breaks his neck, and it's over. He falls in the own ditch he fell. Wow, crazy. Devil's on the hunt, seeking to destroy, and they're marching to the beat and tune of destruction. Seek and destroy, seek and destroy. That's why people like it so much, because that's what their heart is. Punishment to be that blind, to say something else backwards. Oh, no, I don't like that. I don't do that. Liar. Because when it tries to destroy someone, when it chases after Messiah's people and tries to destroy them, none of what it did there was evil. Therefore, that's not in its mind as evil. So it says, I didn't do any evil. You cut someone's head off and say it's doing a service to God. It's like we read. Don't be blind it is. Cut someone's head off, kill him, destroy him, and say we do God a service. Just like the apostle. Yeah, he's murdering. He hates with vengeance and fury Messiah's actual people. Keeping the natural laws, even perfectly, didn't stop him from being wicked. He would know something about everything else is dung compared to Messiah in him. Without the Father and Messiah in us, it's all dung, literally worthless. He saw that. His life was the example of that, going out with a murderous heart, as backwards and blind as can be, until he sees the light, until he starts seeing, this was all in a blinding delusion. So he starts seeing what he was doing. He goes, wow, I can't believe I did this. This is sick. I was blind. Chief of sinners. And the Creator takes the chief of sinners and makes him do a lot of good. That how he shows his power. Or takes the guy on the very bottom. Oh, I can make him great. I can make him do a lot of good. Not that he's great of himself, man, but nevertheless, the Creator lifts up somebody. Those that are lifted up are, they're evil. Those that are pridefully lifted up, they're the good ones. Go backwards. Nice distraction with whatever's going on. Actually overcoming sin and death. Distractions everywhere. Pit stops to get stuck at and trip over. You keep if someone's able to keep someone's mind on this one thing, this one sort of carnal thing, that all by itself doesn't seem to look bad, especially to the world. And that itself is enough to destroy someone. So if someone were to say something about it, the intention of the heart spotted, the person saying something about it is going to be looked at as a lying murderer and no good, because what the other guy's doing, look, they can't see what's being done. It's just like a trap. It's like a web. If I can get them to just think about this and only this, and this is what good is, this is what truth is, this will wipe out everything else. Whatever actually truth is, this is what they got caught in. This is what their mind is on now. Just this. This is what truth is. This is good. And they get stuck in it and become whatever their God is, their leader. They become exactly the same delusion. Get caught in like a King James only thing. And if the leader is in a spiritual ditch, all those that are under him also, and they get caught in this or that thing. And it's like that's all truth is to them. It's working like that. People specialize in like one thing, so it seems they're usually able to say a couple other things here and there, but it's like they specialize in one thing, it seems, maybe one or two. And that's the truth. It doesn't look so evil on the surface, and yet it's very evil, because if that's the truth and people literally get caught in this one thing, that's it. That's how you get someone to not see anything else. All the other things, what sin and death is, what ignorance. Get them stuck on this thing, then you just successfully kept them away from everything else. Isn't that what's being done everywhere? Each one in its own delusion. The strange thing. And then they point fingers at each other. But they're talking about that one thing. They point a finger. No, this thing is over here. It's real. And all of it is messed up. What if that's the truth? Although people will say anything if they're a deceiver. They'll say anything to make it look like they're good, of the truth and care. Anything. Oh, maybe I need to say these words now. And then they do it. They add it to their thing. And now I say these words sometimes so that no one can question it. Someone actually doing that with their heart, that's a deceiver. That's evil. Everything it's doing is for some weird, foul intention and crooked. But if you act nice enough, and you provide something, some carnal thing, it can't be that they're doing that. Just because it can't be, because nobody's that evil, you know. And they use that as a protection shield to support evil. Even just exposing or saying something about this or that makes you wicked, and they throw you down. And all of this is devils with horns, all getting together because they don't want to hear truth. That's the reality of it. Only using whatever they're doing to try to destroy whatever truth is and good is. That's it. They don't want to hear about reality because that's torment, day and night, tormented in the presence of the Lamb. That's reality. Everyone's in torment, and anything that starts getting close to that, they need to trash and destroy so they can go back to their comfortable delusion and lie. And the reason they're doing that is because they're in torment, pushing them in that direction. If they weren't in torment day and night in the presence of the Lamb, then they would be going in the opposite direction towards him and not doing these things to get away from him out of a punishing delusion judgment sense. Its torment is in spirit. Anything that's real and true is torment to those that are against them. So they need to do something to block the torment, if you will, to cover it, to not think about it, to have nothing to do with anything that's true. It makes plenty of sense. That's happening. Torment's not to come someday only. It's already true. Adam is afraid and needs to go and hide and get comfortable because of the torment for sin being exposed by the Father. Hides, it covers itself and hides. We're safe here. Anything getting close to the Father, being exposed for what it really is wicked towards, from the person that's an enemy of the Father. Going towards him, truth is wickedness. How backwards it is. Anything that has to do with exposing someone's cover, which is the only reason they have the cover, is because they ran away from the Father to cover their sins. Anything going towards, you'll be a wicked messenger. It's wicked towards them. And you're actually, it's to draw people towards the Father. That's wickedness towards them, because the only way to be in his presence is also have your cover exposed, have sin exposed, everything, so all of that's wickedness to draw people to the Creator. Oh no, that's evil. Do that. We can draw them to this church building over here. If we get them here, that means they're not doing this and that and this and that. They have nothing to do with the Father because they're stuck here. The spider catches its prey and then eats it, sucks its life out. Because it's dead, it also needs to kill people and suck its life out. It's a punishment. It has to eat other people because it's void and hungry. Just like that spider. It sets traps, covers, religion, buildings, things, shiny things, signs, delusions, smooth words. And then the little thing goes, ooh, 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 but there's a trap right behind it and it gets stuck. And it was only so that they can suck their blood. That's it. So the only reason why they're doing what they're doing. Because they're being punished by the Creator and don't have any care or love at all, zero. That's too much torment to actually understand and see this and believe this. No, it can't be true. It can't be that bad. It is. I've seen these monsters. They prove it's that bad. They proved it over and over again. These people that you would think are very nice and smile and wave and they care about their sheep, they've proven to me they're monsters. Don't stir up the foul spirits in someone. It gets pretty scary. The devil comes out. Who it really is comes out, and they scare themselves sometimes. That's why light can't mix with dark. It's going to bring enmity. It's going to bring these things out, and it won't be good for us. It's sad condition. I don't like seeing it at all. I can't believe it. Sometimes I can't believe it's true. It's just so crazy. I can't believe his word is that true and perfect, and it is. It's like so crazy. Everything Messiah is saying is already based on what he's saying is true. That sounds, this is to be perceived. Everything he's already saying and teaching is with authority and clarity and seeing what the world already is. This is what they will do. No opinions. They're going to go in their own heart. Why isn't he running the race? So we find out this truth and we watch everyone do it. We already know they will. They have no clue what they're doing. We're watching the scriptures be fulfilled because of them. It's a big part of it. Because of what they do, what we read people do, you watch people do it and you go, wow, I can't believe it. They're doing this. Messiah is speaking out of clarity and authority. They're going to think in their own mind, why doesn't he run the race? Like this guy or that guy. Run the race with us. They're running some other race, to destruction. That is the literal reality. And if you're not running into destruction, you're doing evil. Even though you're running to life and they're running into destruction. They say you're running to destruction and doing wickedness. They're running into a pit. Everything we read in Proverbs, it's already what the heart is. Just a matter of learning it for real from above and then seeing it. Mankind does this. It's already doing. The world just made a giant cover to try to make it look like his word is false. And it's not. We read about blowing the trumpet, showing off. That's all the world ever does. It's constantly doing the backwards thing. So, Messiah is saying, don't do this. This is the true way now. The world's doing the other thing already. Don't sound the alarm like the hypocrites. And it's doing that. They're using it. They're not even actually doing the good. They're just doing that to use people and cover themselves, make themselves look good, make themselves look like a messenger of light. That's the only reason. It's that shallow and evil. Otherwise, they wouldn't do that. It's very simple. They wouldn't boast about it, this or that. In fact, someone does that is proof they're only doing it to be seen by men. They have to. Everyone loves the worship. Hard to understand because we're learning to hate it. And there's a real hatred for it. So it's hard to comprehend how could someone want so much worship from people. I understand. I get it. It's true. being blind and in sin, but learning the other perfect thing is hard to comprehend. You can't comprehend it, in reality. But understood. Not like that self screws up sometimes, but it's there's no want to do that. Heart and spirit, there's no want for that. Carnal man, that's all it wants. Why does it want destruction so bad? Doesn't it know that if it gets all this worship, it's destroying itself? Oh, it's so bad and backwards. My goodness. All day long, all the world's ever done is give smooth words to sound soft and smooth and good. It's already that perfectly. Anything with truth and hard words is going to be like sticking out like a sore thumb, and it will be viciously attacked by all the smooth word givers. Only doing that to get worship. That's it. And worship is connected to fame, which is connected to money, which is connected to more fame and more worship, and it keeps growing. I guess that's all I got. Nothing new, I guess. One thing is true. Whoever is actually, forget what they say, whoever is actually spiritually with the heart, focusing on what their image, what they'll look like, is also and doing evil continually. As long as they're doing that, they're also lying and doing evil. It's like that, black and white. Either yes or it's either no. It's either doing that or it's either not. There's no mutation. Doing it halfway for real, with spirit and in truth, doing the Father's will, and 50% of me is perfectly not doing it. It's monstrous. It don't exist. It's either a devil or a saint. That's it. That's hard words, because all the world is anything but that. All the different mutations and ideas, and it comes down to what's it. It's an enemy or it's not an enemy. Two things. It's simplified and it's that hardcore of a divider line. It's already true, but the world's the perfectly backwards thing. So that truth will be crazy to this world. There's no such thing as a 50-50 monster mutation that's half good, half evil, half of the Father, half not. Doesn't exist in reality. No. Therefore, the only thing left is someone's either of the Father or they're not. And all day long, the Scripture supports only that. Either have His Spirit or they don't. He doesn't give half of His Spirit. I don't even know what that is. Then half of it is not. But what will the world do? It builds creatures that are mixed. Even throughout all the years, all the gods they build, it's like mixing two creatures, and humans and animals and different creatures. Why is it doing that? Because the truth is it doesn't exist. That's why it's doing it. It's the backwards thing. It's sin. It's either one thing or the other. So what's the world do? Mix it and make it one giant beast. One pot, one darkness, one lie. Mixing the good and evil, not knowing what good and evil is, just mixing everything, and it's just one giant lie, one giant mutation. Half zebra, half man. It's half fish, half woman, or something like we have in the Book of Enoch. that they seem never to tell people about. That's full-on paganism and wickedness right there. Spiritual wickedness. That creature don't exist unless someone's heart is perverted and not of the Father. You know, that's why that creature exists in the book of Enoch, because the whole entire book is of the devil. Of course, there's going to be quotes and things that sound, you know, copying scripture. That's all by itself okay, but see, this book is there to mix the pot. Just cause more division and destruction, confusion. Just one more tool out of billions. They never talk about the 4,000 foot tall monsters or 400 foot. Both of them are in there. Yes, both 4,000, something very near it, and 400 foot, something very near it. And they gobbled up people and stuff. This is why the Creator had the flood out of a necessity, like, oh no, oh no. That's the spirit. That's what they teach and believe already in the heart. The Creator is a golden calf. They say what the Creator does. And God had to do this because of this reason. You know, it's whatever someone wants to believe, they will, instead of taking truth from the Father himself. Not flooded because of 4,000 foot mutations, monsters. Half fish, half man. Siren, that's what it is, a siren. Who knows what else is in there? I didn't read this whole thing. Pretty big book, all of it. There's all kinds of blasphemy in there. People really highly attached to that book and just casually say it's scripture. So I find some serious fault. I always see some kind of spiritual confusion and darkness and carnal connected to it. They just pick and choose whatever they want, just like they do with scripture, they do with these other books, and leave out what they don't want. Sick. It's a deceiver. Leaves out all these other things. If you bring them up, you're evil. Just for bringing them up, you're evil. You don't have the Holy Spirit. You're dumb. You're stupid. You're retarded. You're wicked. Because I don't bring these things up and hide it from the sheep. I'm the deceiver and do wickedness. You asking of this, and now you're evil. It's evil, man. All day long, they've always done this. It's just so blind you can't see it. You start seeing that. You see they do this on purpose. They stay away from scriptures. Certain ministers will stay away from this or that the best they can. They don't want to talk about it or read it. And if they must, they have to create some kind of lie. It's going to contradict all his word. But the spiritual spell on the people can't see the contradiction. It's a lying wonder. Frogs come out of the mouth of the beast, foul spirits, nothing but destruction. Comes from man. His mouth is like an open tomb, open grave. Nothing but foul spirits and death come out of it. The works of demons. Maybe that's why in so many movies there's demons chasing people, you know. Oh yeah, they're the workers of demons following Satan. No control. They think something's going on, but in reality, spiritual. This is what's happening. Don't they even show that in the movies? Nobody understands or sees that's themselves. Without the Father, that is what someone is. It's already true. Oh, but like winning a team or something is casting out demons. That's the reality. That's what grace is, and casting out demons. Some team winning some game. We overcame our demons. Make it this thing so that it covers what it really is. We'll give the definition of grace to cover what it really is. faith, what it really is. Salvation, being saved continually, what it really is. Sin and death, what it really is. Just put a different definition in carnal understanding. It's hard to believe that so many people, leaders, religious leaders, are doing this evil. They're literally doing this evil. They're workers of the devil. But if confronted, oh no, they're not doing that. They're only doing good. And all their sheep will stand up against, for it. Because they're attached. They're being punished for believing this false prophet and all the sin that's going on. They're attached and they can't not be attached. The false prophet, the devil, knows something about it, that's for sure. Controls them through this spiritual worship and attachment. They have a power over them. They move crowds by the thousands. It's real. It's very real. Or by the millions, on a grander scale, presidents or whatever. People are worshiping man. Why? Because you're not supposed to. Trust no man, worship no man. So then what is the world already been doing? Worshiping man. Worshiping some man. Some lowly man on the earth. Deceived. Oh, it's so sick what the devil does, man. It's so prideful. They could cut you off and do whatever they want and then expect nothing back. Oh, you can't do the same evil they do. I'm just speaking of the evil itself. You can't say that they did that evil now or chase them like they would do if it happened to them. That's how much of a God it is. But if someone does the exact same stupid thing to them, they rage, they flip off, they chase, they run. And they just did the same thing to someone else. And if someone chases them, they're the wicked one for chasing them. It's so sick and lost. It does this with everything. Oh, don't even get started with spiritual things, let alone some carnal, some carnal thing, driving in a car or something. It does that with all things spiritual, constantly. It's never at guilt. It's always right while it does evil. And then the other person, the same thing's going on in their mind. Always right, never doing evil. They could do it to whoever they want, but they can do the same thing to them. It's so crazy that I've had a car swerve right in front of me and almost hit me. Out of the blue, devil sent them. Following them a little while, not very long, getting into another lane. They're like, I could see that they're scared. They're running, little children. I slowly passed them, and they're both raging, foaming at the mouth with rage. And nothing happened except just slowly passing them and looking over to the right. And they're raging for the very sin they did, cut off on purpose without any care. Nope, I didn't do that evil. It was God in its mind, both of them, man and woman, together in destruction, married in destruction and death. And when you start slowly passing them and you just look at them, they're already screaming and raging, cussing, putting all that what just did on you, they put on you. Why? Because the Spirit is seeing them, because it's a big deal. Oh yeah, they're afraid of the Creator. I could see it in spirit, see it easily. It has nothing to do with me or someone else. Just I see this thing. It's a severe coward in reality. Cowards have to fight. That's pure insanity. It's like shooting someone in the gut. Let's say someone shoots someone in the gut, and now the guy that's shot is coming over and just looking past the guy that shot him. And just for looking at him, the guy that shot him says that you shot him. It's literally what they did. It's what they do with everything. You're the crazy one. You're the insane one. I didn't shoot you. No, it can't be I did any evil. You shot me. And the guy's sitting there dying, bleeding. And the guy's raging and foaming at the mouth that you shot him. That's what it's doing in its heart, literally. Literally, spiritually. Yes. It's literally doing that. It's how much of a God is in its own mind. It can't be wrong about anything. Never did any evil. Oh man, those scriptures come alive. Adam runs like a coward. Eve runs like a coward to the trees and covers themselves. It's been happening ever since. Tormented in the presence of the Creator ever since. Revealed through Messiah. The Father revealed through Messiah, the first, the man with the Spirit, who the Father really is. No one had a clue. And now given all tormented in the presence of the Lamb. But it always was true. Father, tormented by who he is, his presence, his Spirit. Been doing it ever since. Beginning to end. Someday it won't exist anymore. But Satan says it exists forever because he loves it. In his heart, he loves it. He enjoys this world, loves it. Loves the kingdoms, loves money, loves the beast, loves selfishness, loves everything that's wicked in reality. And therefore he loves that this evil will go on forever. Yes, he wants that to be true. Only thing he can care about is right this minute, right now, because there is no future. It's a YOLO in its heart. That's what they don't want to tell anyone. Anyone that doesn't have the Father's Spirit does not believe in the Creator. They can't. They're atheist in the heart. Who cares what they say? Of course they're going to deny that. Of course they're going to bitterly reject that and cry if they need to make it look like they believe in God. For anyone who doesn't have a spirit, they're an atheist in reality. The fool in his heart says there's no Creator, not with lips, in his heart. The works in the heart prove that it doesn't believe in the heart Creator exists. All day long it masquerades, though. That's why it creates a golden calf, because it can't believe in a Creator that's above them. It sits on the golden calf that it creates and pulls its head around with a rope. Throws its God here, throws its God there. No one tells me what to do or where to go. I do it and then say, God told me. Try to look like the real thing, to pervert the real, the true. Pervert it, try to muddy it up. Here's what's really going on. They do what they want, but then they say God did. They're covered. What's going on? That's how blind it is. They've been building their own God since the beginning. Mankind. What's going on in the heart? Well, then here's how it manifests with stone and gold and stuff. It's not about the gold. It's what's going on in the heart. Mankind's doing that. It's too easy for something to become an idol, worshipped as God. In the heart, it's very attached to what's God and idol. It's very easily proven because they can't get rid of the very thing they say they don't worship. How come they can't get rid of it? How come they can't stop? That's not proof to them. It's not proof. It is to those that can see. It's going to put Christmas lights on just again, even after saying I don't worship Christmas. It's going to do that. It can't stop. It's already predictable. It can't do anything else. It's not about lights. It's not about that. It's the spiritual thing in the heart that's going on that can't stop. The worship in the heart that's going on. That's why, therefore, this is predictable. Spiritual prophecy of the heart instead of like a literal prophecy. Sort of the natural and the spiritual. Carnal man only sees natural things, and even that he's blinded in natural things too. It's foolishness to explain something through the Creator's truth, his judgments, his ways, his spirit, his things. It's foolishness. All are natural in reality. Utter foolishness to them. It's foolishness to religion just as much as it is to those who proclaim atheists. I see the same works in the heart. It doesn't matter. It's just a religion, you know. It's just as much foolishness to them as the other guy. It's not proclaiming religion or something, you know, openly. Know them by their fruit, the works, what kind of works. What kind of fruit does the tree produce? Once it's seen, it's done. Trees screaming, the person screaming, I'm not this, and it's, I'm not apples, and it's like apples all over the tree. It's kind of stupid. But it will call seeing that there's apples on the tree wickedness and pride, because it has to throw it down, because they have to throw down the very proof of sin. Therefore, just simply seeing in truth with clarity that it's an apple tree, it's got apples on it. The ability to see the apples on the tree is sin to the tree. All by itself, that's sin. You know, that's incredibly stupid. It won't believe that exists. You know what it's saying? That spiritually doesn't believe exists. Here's what it looks like naturally, what they're claiming. Someone goes up to a tree and it's apples on it. They're saying the ability for the man to see with his eyes that it's apples on the tree doesn't exist, and it's stupid and prideful. Now this spiritually being done, you know, spiritually happening, but it's just like that natural. It's that easy spiritually when someone sees. It's that easy as the natural picture, physical eyes looking at apples, spiritual eyes looking at this work or that work. Use this fruit. It's that easy when someone is given to see. There's no tricks. There's no incredible power. You know, the Father's giving sight, but it's a very simple, pure, simple thing. It's not like some kind of magnificent thing to just, oh, there's apples on the tree. There's nothing, not much to it. They're saying that the ability to see that is wicked. That's how, you know, you could say foolish, it's crazy foolishness. But they can't see when you say foolish. There's nothing it sees that's foolish. It's just a nasty enmity between the serpent seed and the woman's seed. There's no communion. There's nothing. They will claim the exact same things towards each other, and only one is right and the other's a liar. But it's reversed in the carnal man's mind. It's right, and the one that sees for real is blind and a liar. That's the reality. That's what's going on in this world. You go up to a tree, you see it's got oranges on it, and you go, hey, there's oranges on that tree. But it's so simple, someone might look at you weird for just saying that, like, hello, duh. And when you do that spiritually, you see the works, you discern the works of the heart, why it did something. You see the fruit, say it's a bad fruit, and you say, okay, if this fruit represents bad fruit, if you will, right now, you know, you say oranges. Let's say oranges represent bad fruit right now. Say, okay, I see oranges. They rage. They'll say that, no, you don't. No, I didn't. So when they say I didn't do this thing, they said that there's no oranges on the tree. That's how blind it is. They're going to think it prideful just because he gives his people sight to see the works and intentions of the heart, the fruit of the heart. It's actual proof, not what it claims with words, but what its heart's proof is, that they think doesn't exist. You can't see his heart. Well, Messiah couldn't see their heart and its intentions at all. He's blind. That's what they thought. That's what they need to believe. This is insanity. This is sad. It's not prideful to just be able to see that there's oranges on the tree. It's simple. There's no pride with it. It's necessary to see, need it. It's the opposite of pride. It's calling out for what it is, what it sees. When Messiah says, "Why do you seek to kill me?" He sees rotten fruit, and he's just speaking in the open without any other intention. Why do you seek to kill me? It's obvious. There's rotten fruit on this tree. And now translated, I see rotten fruit on this tree. Translated, why do you seek to kill me? Seeing it in spirit. And they go, who seeks to kill you? There's no rotten fruit on this tree. Blind. That's why he said blind guides, blind leaders of the blind. You're the prideful, wicked ones, not the Father's works, not being able to see spiritually with spiritual eyes. There's nothing prideful about saying truth. That's all, just speaking truth. It just happens to be that whatever truth is constantly attacks and offends those against the truth. And that's why they have to hate it and attack it. Wish people could see this, how simple and pure it is. The many, the world's not seeing. And so then, because Messiah is not in prison, he answers in certain ways that the people in prison could never do like that. And so when he answers out of truth, once again, only out of truth and clarity, it's the most direct and honest way to live, is just out of pure clarity and truth. But to someone in a delusion, there's no reality to that. So we could read Messiah answering in certain ways, and they say just by answering the way Messiah did, oh, he's doing wicked evil. And he's actually answering the most honest, direct, real way that's possible. There's no better way to answer more truthfully. And they call it pride. How dare you talk to the high priest like that? And it's literally the most direct, honest way to answer, seeing with spiritual eyes, answering accordingly. Pretty scary. They're the blind ones. Just because they can't see doesn't mean this doesn't exist. That's what they claim. They claim Messiah is blind. All his people. They just put that they're blind just like they are. They already assume it on them. I'm trying to help them, trying to just tell them truth. That's it. What else? What do they want us to do? Lie? You want us to say that there's lemons on there instead of oranges, which is doing wickedness, which is lying to you, which is killing you, which is murdering you. You want us to say that there's rotten, that there's this kind of fruit instead of this fruit, and that would make you happy? Pretty confused. You got to deal with it. Don't they realize that we're learning not to lie? We can't lie. If someone asks a question, we have to answer honestly, and we're going to answer honestly to the best of what we've been given to see. And when we answer honestly, it'll be attacked. Just for answering honestly. There's oranges on the tree today. I see green leaves. And because you say there's green leaves, no, you should have said brown. You should have lied. That's why Messiah even says we can read it. What do you want me to do? Lie like you? That's what's going on there. It's real nasty. Constantly lying. And Messiah is constantly speaking truth. I don't know what verse it's in, but what shall I do? If I do this, I'll lie like you do. lie like you, right to their face. It's just truth. That's all. There's no foul intention for him saying that. I'm not saying that there's no way to do evil, but in this case, speaking out of truth, out of the Father's Spirit, he didn't do any evil. It's just truth. If I do this, I'll be a liar like you. And just for saying that truth, they explode in rage and they need to try to catch him again, kill him. Well, I think I'm gonna. Oh, I got an order. Finally. Wow. Oh, I got more than one order. What's going on here? Looks like I gotta go. What is going on? Error loading orders. Okay. Oh. Uh-oh. That was like 20 minutes ago. Oh, I don't like doing that. I guess I gotta go. I didn't realize I had. You know what would happen right here? If something were to happen, you did evil and you did it on purpose. And it wasn't. But it doesn't look so good on this side.